Well, we're back with the Bunnylord. I just did a little bit of scavenging to make sure that all of my resources were topped up, and now it looks like it's time to get started with my Warlord legacy. And we've got an informant here who wants to talk to us. So, hey there, Siobhan.
Okay, here's the thing.
You're in serious danger. If you give me a place to stay, I'll tell you everything. So, do I even have space in my community? I think I must. Do I have... Hold on. Let's learn about you. She's just into self-promotion. Let's look at our community here. Or actually, look at our base. So I've got 0 beds. I don't have any space for her. So you know what? The Bunnylord is a harsh mistress. She's not going to take her in. Just tell me or I'll kill you.
Whoa, easy now.
All right, Siobhan. My old enclave was contacted by a group that calls itself the Coalition. They want us to set you up. I slipped away to warn you. Ooh, we're going to hit them first, huh? Okay, let's give it a try.
I got your back.
Okay, the question is, can I bring another character with me? Let's make sure that I'm actually well enough equipped to take these people down. So, I would rather have a more powerful round coming out of my gun if I can. I've got some shotguns. That's pretty decent. Not a lot of really nice high-capacity ones. You know, there might not be anything that's that much better than my Vector. Let's definitely make some more 45, though. Make sure I got plenty of bullets. We got all the ammo in the world. So grab some 45. And what else? Let's set some people on fire. And let's make sure that we've got massive heals. And we're going to need gas for our car. And, I don't know, a bomb. Let's see, who wants to come with me? Cowpuncher? Let's bring the Cowpuncher with me. He's kind of my second in command, right? Let's go see what's going on with these people. So, one question that came up earlier, before we officially started this video, was from Theogony. So Theogony asked, what can I do if I've got an enclave on the map that I don't want, and they're already allied with me, and I want to get rid of them? And unfortunately, the answer is just there's not much you can do, and unless you've got basically some. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, I can't take the Bunnymobile if I want to bring all of these followers with me. So I think I might need to take the Tiger Claw instead. So let's get in the Tiger Claw, everybody. There's not much you can do, and that's an area that I sort of consider to be one of the failings of this game. And we really wanted this game to feel like it was about people, to feel like it was about connecting with people, building communities with people. And unfortunately, we just did not give the player enough tools to have the interactions with outside enclaves that I think it's reasonable for players to want. A lot of the best stories in the zombie apocalypse are about the relationships between different groups with different agendas, and how they might betray each other, but also how they could find common cause. And we wanted the story of our game, the sort of mechanically driven story, to be about that to a great degree. And it's not, because we sort of failed to fully implement a lot of the mechanics that we wanted in the game. So I'm sorry that there's really not a good option there. I really wish there was. And so when I think about the future of State of Decay and what I'd like to do with the game, that's one area where I would really love for us to spend some time making some improvements. In fact, that's when people around the office ask me, what do you want to make sure you get done before you're done working on State of Decay 2? That's probably the main thing that I mentioned. There are definitely other things that we do want to do, and a lot of them are actually taking priority over it. It's not, making those specific improvements are not on the immediate slate right in front of us. But that is an area where before I'm done with this game, I really want to work on it. And luckily, right now, the plan is not for us to stop anytime soon, so I think there's a pretty decent chance that I'll get to do what I'm hoping I'll do. Old Salty Dirty asks, How is Brant Fitzgerald doing? So he was. So people have not seen Brant very much on the stream lately. Oh, look at all these friendly zombies. I wonder if there's a way I can use that to my advantage. They haven't seen Brant a lot on the stream lately. He was on the stream yesterday. But part of it really is, he's... Oh, for one thing, Brant just got a brand new job that he's been trying to stay on top of because he's the art director of the game now. And so that will take a lot of anybody's time. But it's not really about that. It's also, it's kind of... So that's why I wouldn't, ask him to be on the stream more often than he has. But really, it's just, we're trying to get sort of a variety of faces and voices on the stream, and so Brent is often, willing basically to sort of make room for other people. He's a very, he's actually one of the best coworkers I've ever had when it comes to really wanting to accommodate other people and make room for other people. He's one of the most sort of kind and supportive colleagues I've ever worked with, and so a lot of this is just Brant's selflessness, coming out. Okay, look, somebody finish this thing out. Oh, wait, am I being shot? I think I'm being shot. Oh, yep, there they are. Let's, not be in their line of fire. Oh, gosh, okay. Oh, we got more people. Here's another one. Hey, that's Cowpuncher. You do not kill Cowpuncher. Whew. All right, we made it. Talk to Siobhan to tie up loose ends? Wait, what does that mean? Oh, wait. Siobhan, where'd you go? All right, let's get this searching out of the way. Oh, look, we made some noise searching a dead body. How do we do that? I don't know. But yeah, so Brant is fine. That's the point I was trying to get at before I got into this fight. Brant's doing okay. And I think the main thing he would want is for you not to worry about him. So don't.
We dealt with the threat, but we need to learn more about this coalition before they show
Oh,
up.
okay. Got a Papushka there, which is the silly name that I have for that particular gun. Sure. Oh, I don't have any room? Fine, I don't need this stuff anyway. All right, let's see here. So Built5 wants to know, are there any plans for putting this game on the PlayStation, or is it a Microsoft exclusive? It is a Microsoft exclusive. Our company is owned by Microsoft, and let's go take out this infestation while we're at it. Our company's owned by Microsoft, and so yeah, so there's no particular motivation that we'd have to put this game on PlayStation. This is one of the perks of having an Xbox, of having Game Pass, is the fact that you get access to this game in particular. Among others, obviously, the next Halo is probably going to fall into that category. Gears of War falls into that category. There's, basically, yeah, like, one of the only games that doesn't fall into that category is Minecraft, because it is such a ridiculous crossover, worldwide, insane hit. It's like a cultural phenomenon that absolutely every person on every platform needs to play. I don't think Microsoft has any intention of restricting the penetration of Minecraft in any way. But most of the rest of us are definitely, part of what we're doing is providing people with a reason to engage with Microsoft platforms. To see them as being, indispensable because of what they have to offer. So that is part of our role in the larger company. So we do what we can. So J-Mason just showed up and says, hey, wait, that's the guy that's in all the update videos. Yep, that's me. I am... Oh, did Cowpuncher just take out the Screamer? Nope, he didn't. He just tried and failed. Wait, who's this person? Hello, Rob.
You got something for me?
Huh. Wait, what? And drill press. Ooh, CNC mill. Yeah, let's sell some stuff to this guy. Get ourselves a CNC mill.
Oh, that's heavy.
I think that I've just got some garbage mod in my workshop right now. But yes, you have discovered the personal stream of the host of the State of Decay 2 stream. And yeah, so basically, I use this, I've got the official stream I do for work, but that's only weekly, and part of what I want to do is get good at that. And I think the only way for me to get particularly good at streaming for work is to also stream at home. And so, I try to use this stream for several different purposes. One is to get better at streaming, because, as folks who are here know, I definitely have my limitations. I have trouble keeping up with chat. I have trouble sort of splitting my attention the way you have to be putting on a show and playing a game at the same time. And, and one thing that I actually do is, you'll find that I talk very, very fast, doing what they sometimes call talking at the speed of thought, where my speaking is so quick that I get ahead of myself, I get out over my skis, and I don't even know what I'm saying next as I start a sentence. And sometimes that leads me to, say things that I later find embarrassing, or to just stumble over my words going, all the time, and not being extremely coherent. And so all that stuff is stuff that I like to work on, and one of the best ways to do it is to have my own stream. So that's one reason I do this stream. Another reason is because as a game designer, I need to play a lot of games, and I need to not just play them as sort of like just a relaxing, abnegation type activity. I need to actually really learn from them. I need to be, actively playing them in a way that isn't always easy to do. It isn't always easy to sort of devote the kind of focus to playing video games that it takes to pull that off. And so one of the reasons I do this stream is so that when I play video games, I've got an audience that I'm talking to, and it forces me to be more coherent about the lessons that I'm learning and the things that I'm noticing about a game. And so right now I'm playing my own game, and that's helpful to me because even though I know largely what's in this game, I don't actually know everything that's in this game because the game is so huge. It's hard to know everything in this game, even if you work on it for, 7 years or whatever. How long have I been working on this franchise? Let's see, I started in 2013, so I guess this will be my 8th year working on this game, working on this franchise. I started on, the expansion packs for State of Decay 1. But yeah, I've been working on this franchise for a long time, but even with that, there's still so many things I don't know about this game that I can only discover as a player of it. But then I also on this channel, I tend to play a lot of other games, especially indie games that are trying weird and experimental things so I can learn from them. But having the audience here to discuss them with makes me learn a lot more from those games than I would otherwise. And it actually gives me sort of, because there's an interesting conversation going on around a game, there are some games that I would normally stop after 5 minutes and being like, I'm just not getting into this, I need to quit. When I play it on the stream, I've got to play it for like 45 minutes or an hour to justify it, unless it's really, really giving me problems. And then I end up learning a lot more. So that's what this stream is about. So, if you want to, feel free to subscribe if you want to subscribe and hang out with me and see, and contribute to the process. Let's see here. Too Old to Game 2 says, State of Decay 2 is the game I've played most on Game Pass, and I only started last year. So welcome to the community. It's so funny, like there's, the set of people who sort of engaged with us very early on in State of Decay 1 is kind of a different list from the people who are engaged most with us in State of Decay 2. It's like this community, it's sort of like the ship of Thesis, right? It's like there's a lot of people who joined late and a lot of people who've been here for a long time, but over time there's sort of this like kind of like turnover, especially, each time you add an iteration to a franchise. There's people who love the new changes and get really into them, but there's people who are like, I kind of like the original better. And that's kind of unavoidable. I mean, unless you're making this exact same game twice, which people would also be annoyed by, it's always impossible to please everyone. Okay, so which mod did I have already? Okay, that's bonus parts from salvage. What was this? Makes parts from materials. That's right. Well, you know what? It's good to have both, I guess. So Sinister Cheshire said, just showed up myself. Which version are we playing? Plague Territory or Old School? We're playing Old School. I don't actually have the game installed on Steam on my machine, partly just because I've already got like other builds of the game installed on my machine. I think it would just get confusing to try to be playing on Steam. So I'm not a Steam player of our game. I'm an Xbox exclusive player of our game, which means I don't have access to the public test realm, like many people. But that's okay, because actually, playing the live game that most people are playing is a lot of what I'm trying to get out of this experience. So Yoda suggests that actually just having the ability to threaten an allied enclave, going back to that question of how do I get rid of an allied enclave, having the ability to threaten them would certainly do the trick mechanically. And I mean, you're right that technically that would work. The problem with that is, I mean, I don't like the threaten mechanic at all. I kind of wish we hadn't gone with that. I've never really approved of it as a part of the game. I don't want the player to be the one who is, I think I don't want to deal with a warlord mission right now. I don't want the player to be the one who's instigating just like random murder for no good reason. It just doesn't feel like the kind of message that we want our game to be sending. And it's not like I'm trying to be morally preachy or something like that, but it's like there's a certain vibe to a game where you play a murderous asshole that I just don't want that to be the thematic vibe of this game. I want this game to be a lot more about connection and hope and reliance on each other and stuff like that, which, for a game about community building, that feels like a really, nice, cohesive theme for it to have. And making the game about sort of like, well, this is the harsh reality of the new world we live in. We just got to kill people because sometimes that's what it takes or whatever. Like, there's lots of games that do that. There's so many games where that's the message, where that's the attitude. I just like, we don't need another one. We don't need to be that game. And so, honestly, if anything, what I'd like to do is replace Threaten for the other enclaves with some new action that still gives you the freedom that you want, but that doesn't involve murdering everyone. So I've only got a little bit of time left. Oh, and there's a hostile enclave up here. The Cerebellums is what they're called? Okay, sure. As I say, this would be a really good place to scavenge, except the Cerebellums are right there. And they're probably going to get dragged into one of my Warlord missions eventually anyway. I'm trying to think if there's like one last thing that I can do that'll feel valuable. There's a fuel depot. Well, why not? Sure, let's go get the fuel depot. Let's go scavenge a fuel depot, and then we'll probably get out of here. While we continue to talk to people in the chat and practice getting better at reading it. Wait, no, can't drive the Bunnymobile. I do not deserve it. Theogony suggested the threaten mechanic actually... Oh. Well, we'll deal with that when we get back. The threaten mechanic does work thematically if you're the warlord specifically. Maybe I kind of feel like even the extent to which the warlord feels like the kind of person that would do that, even that feels like a little bit too far to me. No, there are some players who want that, and I understand that. Like, there's one of the most upvoted items on our wish list is give us a psychopath leader type. And I'm like, okay, sorry, you're not happy with the amount of murdering that the warlord does. You want an even more murdery leader than that. And I'm like, that's one of, sometimes things go on the wish list and we're like, oh yeah, absolutely, we'd love to add that. Whenever we get the time and the resources, we'd love to add that. But when I read that one, I'm just like, no, we're not making that game. Sorry. You're not getting the warlord is as close to a psychopath leader type as we're ever going to make. I'm sorry. And so even the warlord, because like just a character, like if the way that that the warlord plays out gives the people impression that this character would just sort of murder people for no good reason, I feel like even then we're not doing a good job of representing the kind of character that the warlord is meant to be. Sort of the moral universe that we always sort of imagined for the warlord is one where they're like, I want to kill everyone, but rather one where they value the lives and the needs of their own people more highly than they value outsiders. And there's a lot of real human beings who are not psychopaths who have that attitude, who feel like, the most moral thing they can do is to protect the people they're close to from everyone else. They have sort of an automatic distrust of outsiders and people they don't know, or people who feel like they belong to, outgroups. And they feel like, they believe in a moral universe where it's us, where everything is a zero-sum game. Everything is us or them. And if good things are happening to other people, that's things that their people, the real people, the good people, are missing out on. And it does create a lot of sort of like interpersonal rivalries and community rivalries, just in the real world. And I disagree with that point of view. I like strongly disagree with that point of view. I don't like it when people take that attitude. I think it's wrong, but it's common. And it's like, people who just think, oh, we should just murder everyone we don't like. Like, there are very few people who actually think that that's what you should do, who actually think that, sort of the psychopath character that you often see in a post-apocalyptic story, that's how people should behave. There are very, very few people who believe that that's how the world should actually be. But there are lots of people who genuinely believe in the same part of their consciousness where all of my sense of what's morally good lives. People genuinely believe that sticking up for their own people at the expense of everyone else, that gives them the same sense of moral good that a lot of things, that are not that, give me. And so, while on one hand, I could not disagree more with that perspective on the world, it does feel legitimate for me to sort of represent it as an attitude in the game because it's so common, because it's actually, there's so many people who really do think that way. It would feel almost inaccurate to represent a world where people were not like that. So that's why the warlord is in the game, is to represent that point of view, but not to be a mustache-twirling villain, not to be a psychopath, because that's not how those people are. And I think that's important, because I think that if you sort of like, when you make a cartoon character who sort of just like acts like a villain and just like, oh, like, and they don't resemble anyone you know, then they can't really easily comment on the real world. They can't really even say anything about the world if they just don't represent anyone that's real. And so that's why I would kind of resist going any further into the sort of like psychopath, kill everybody attitude with the warlord. If anything, I might pull them back, is because I want to actually I want there to be, players who recognize themselves in the attitudes of these leaders, even the ones that I disagree with. I want players to recognize themselves in that, and then maybe, sort of playing out the consequences of those decisions. Maybe there's some, sort of, change and growth that people can experience by sort of getting to know each other this way. There's ways that someone who has, more like my attitude could learn from, seeing people who feel that way as real human beings that they can engage with and engage in dialogue rather than just dismissing them as utter monsters. And there's, maybe things that somebody who has that attitude could learn from seeing, a character like that in the game, and maybe seeing some of the harsh negative consequences of the decisions that they make. Like, I would love to do all of that, and I feel like, I'm sitting here talking about these sort of like high-flown ideals of what I'd love to be accomplishing with this game, and I have to acknowledge that we are accomplishing none of it, as far as I can tell right now. The game does not achieve these things, but I would love for it to. I would love to, to be able to push it much better in that direction, and I'm not sure exactly what it would take mechanically to make the game more useful in that regard. It's sort of like informing conversations between people. Like I don't think we're doing it now. I feel like there's potential to have that kind of impact through video game mechanics. I'm just not sure how to get there, but I would love to. That's the kind of thing I would love to be doing with this game. Is sort of trying to create and facilitate those kinds of discussions. And also, I also need to get better at shooting, which is an unrelated problem. So Old Salty Dirty says, judging from your vocal cords, you'd be one hell of a bad guy, Jeffrey. I'm not sure what you mean about my vocal cords. Is it the fact that I've been talking a lot lately and my voice is a little bit husky right now, that I sound a bit like a villain? So Old Salty Dirty suggests, could we say that warlords also like to manipulate people? That's the thing, yeah, it's like, I don't think that what warlords need is more opportunities to kill people. I think what warlords really need is more opportunities to exploit people, to use their, to use their influence. Right now you can use influence to recruit people. What if with a recent addition, the first addition to the game that Lucy got to announce before the Outpost upgrade was being able to recruit people with influence. What if a warlord could intimidate people with influence? What if they could extort people for resources using their influence? What if they could earn influence? Maybe they could earn more influence by being, physically intimidating, like against, in zombie combat, that sort of thing, and then use that influence to extort resources out of folks. And maybe sometimes that causes them conflicts, but sometimes they just make a profit off people the way that a mob boss would. A mob boss is the ultimate warlord leader, right? And yes, they kill people, but they don't just kill everyone. They're not just out there to murder as many people as possible. They've got a business that they're trying to run. And they've got, and they're watching out for their own people at the expense of everyone else. They don't care who they exploit to make the people that they are devoted to, their family, rich. And that feels much more like the attitude of a warlord, of even just sort of an extremist warlord, somebody who says, the survival of the people that I trust and care about, the people that are close to me, that are in my in-group, is of the utmost importance. And if getting them food means intimidating other people out of their food and potentially risking other people's starvation so that we are always ensured that we could not possibly starve, that decision will be worth it to them. So yeah, I could totally see that working. So yeah, so Sata Hotpot is suggesting, like, what if you were a raider or a bandit? I think that we would need to, see it in that light. See it as, I would want to explore the psychology of a person who decides that's okay. And not just say, well, they're bad, that's why, hey. Have it be much more, have them talk about the reasons why they are what they are, and then still show the absolute harsh misery that they're creating in other people. And maybe, I'd love it if a player thought, haha, yes, this is how you run things in the apocalypse, and then have them maybe be unhappy with it afterwards because of the harm they're causing. I mean, that's one of my favorite things about The Last of Us 2, is that story is about tribalism and, hating the other, hating people who have wronged you but who you don't understand, and how that turns you into a villain. And that's just, I mean, it was an amazing message. And, we don't have, in our game, we're a very different game from The Last of Us. We don't have the tools that they have for storytelling, but we have different tools. And I feel like, there might be something we could do there in the same space. I just don't know exactly how to get from here to there. Yeah, so Sata Hotpot, brings up that in, I think it was it in a Fallout game where you had a character who had no choice but to become a raider to help their people? Like, telling a story like that could be really, really cool, right? And sort of watching someone think they have good reasons to get into that life and then regret it. That sounds amazing. I love that idea. Or maybe, maybe they don't regret it, but maybe it's really clear to the audience that the audience feels like they should regret it. And crafting that kind of thing is hard, and we don't have a lot of storytelling tools in this game because we let the mechanics be the most important, like the systems of the game be the most important, most prominent part of the game. And that means that, it limits our ability to tell specific stories and use the tools of storytelling to sort of bring across the messages that we want. But that kind of thing would be really cool. So, So I think I am running out of time. So thank you for this conversation in the chat, by the way. This has been a lot of fun. I'm sorry I haven't gotten to everybody's comments, but we are getting perilously close to my first meeting at work today, and so I should probably give it a rest. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. This has been a lot of fun making this video. If you're watching this later on YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel by hitting the button that I will magically make appear right there. The next Bunnylord video is going to be here. We're going to keep trying to get the Warlord Legacy, and this is my last Dread Legacy, so we'll have to see what happens after that.